Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Today is the first day that I am doing a Q&A for a Instagram post that I asked my followers to please ask me questions, and they did not have to be crochet related questions, but I think most of them have been crochet related. So thank you to the people who did post your questions, and I will be answering them today. And this is my first time doing this, so I hope it all goes well. Rajan, one of my followers, she's from Denmark, and she's just the sweetest. She asked me so many questions, and I'm so thankful for her, because if it wasn't for her, I would not have this video, because she asked almost all the questions. There's one other person that asked 3 questions. So most of these are from Rajan, and I do appreciate her, because without her, I would not have this video. Let's go to question number 1. All right, it says, can you please explain what proper tension is when you're crocheting? Okay, so tension, Rajan. Tension is the tightness or looseness of your stitches. So when you're crocheting, you are either a crocheter or a tight crocheter, and it's okay to be both. All right, there's no right way or wrong way to crochet. Some of us have a tight hold, or we have the yarn wrapped around the fingers, and that tends to make a tighter tension. So you can be a tight crocheter or a loose crocheter. Both is fine. My suggestion to you is just always try to keep a constant tension, okay? A constant tension is better than anything else, because you don't want to have a crochet project where you have some areas that are loose and some areas that are too tight. So if you need to adjust your tension and you're not able to change your tension the way you crochet, I would suggest changing your hook size. So if you are a tight crocheter and you know this, and you just cannot loosen your grip or your tension, and you need to have a looser tension, I would suggest to go up a size or 2 on your hook. And just the same way, if you are too loose and you need to have a tighter tension, I would go down a hook size or 2 to help you. So either way is fine. There's lots of crocheters who do have a tight tension, and you just know that. And you can, like I said, if you can't adjust your tension, which is really hard to do, it's like telling somebody to ride a bike differently, or write with the left hand, or whatever if you're right-handed. So if you cannot adjust your tension, just change your hook size, and that should help you with that. Okay, the next question that Rajan has is, do you have any tips on how to make it easier to crochet with black yarn, except for good lighting? Well, except for good lighting, I'm not sure, but I will tell you that if you go into a bright lit room, or even outside in natural lighting, it's much easier to crochet black with natural lighting for sure. So maybe go by a window where you're getting natural sunlight in. That does help. I have these lights, maybe I can find them and add it, but I have, they're called Mighty Sight or something like that, and they're black glasses, and they're rechargeable and they have a light, so they have a little button right here, so you click on that button, and there's lights on both sides of the glasses. I wish I could find them, because I love them. I'll have to make a separate video on those, but I don't know where I put those right now. But anyway, I love using those for black yarn, because they are both magnifiers and light up glasses. So you just put them on as regular glasses, and you click, and then you have these lights that come out, so they see what exactly you're seeing. And plus the lenses are magnification, so that really helps too. Another thing I would suggest is if you can use a bigger hook, or if you can feel your stitches. So if you know where the stitches are going when you're crocheting with your fingers, you can feel it, that helps too. But really the best thing is just best lighting, Rajan. Other than that, I'm not sure. Okay, so the next question is, I'm a slow crocheter, and these are all Rajan's questions. She is so awesome. I'm a slow crocheter, and I've been crocheting for about a year now. Should I be worried about not crocheting faster after all this time? And I don't think you should be worried at all. It's okay to be a slow crocheter. There's nothing wrong with going slow and taking your time and making sure you're getting your stitches and your tension correct. The most important thing is tension. That will make your work look the best. not missing stitches, not dropping stitches. The most important thing I think in crocheting is tension. That'll make your work look nice and even all the way through. Your stitches will look even. I've sent out a lot of orders, and what I hear back from people is I guess I have really good tension, because they always say your stitches look so clean and uniform and everything looks beautiful. And so I guess I have good tension. I am a fast crocheter. It's just how I am as a person, really. I just sort of do everything fast, but speed will come later on, and you don't even necessarily need speed. It doesn't matter how fast you go or how slow you go. As long as your stuff looks nice, your tension is good, it really doesn't matter. The speed will come eventually, but if it never does, it never does, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. So just take your time, Rajan, and just enjoy what you're doing. Okay, so the next question is, what is your advice crocheting gifts for other people on the expectations of how it will be received? So when you are crocheting for other people, sometimes they don't love things as much as you do, or maybe they love it more than you do because you made it. So I would just make sure you're giving somebody something that they will either use or enjoy in their home. Nobody wants to get something that maybe they have no use for, right? So it doesn't even matter if you crocheted or not. If you give somebody a gift that they will never use, they'll just never use it. So maybe see what they like to do, maybe their favorite colorways, maybe sports teams, groups, whatever. They have certain favorite colors. Do they like natural fibers, synthetic fibers? Are they in a cold area? Do they need warm scarves, hats, mittens, gloves, this and that, and whatever? Do they like decorative things? Do they like cutesy things to put in their car or whatever? Just sort of maybe find something that they enjoy or like, and then crochet that, and maybe they'll enjoy it more. But I would say on expectations, it would be the same as giving any gift, I think. We always hope that the gifts that we give people will love, and sometimes they just don't, and that's just life, I guess. There's an old saying that when you give a gift, you just give it with love, and then it doesn't matter if the person likes it, hates it, uses it, doesn't use it. You have done your part, right? You've made that item with love and care, and you gave it to them, and that's all that counts. You did it with love, and you gave it with love, and it doesn't matter if they love it or not, or if they never wear it. You did your part, and you did the best you can. So I would say expectations are the same as any gift giving, but just know that maybe they will love it more or less than you did, but you did your part, Rajan. So that's all I can say about that. Okay, our next question is, what is your favorite stitch? So my favorite stitch is the half double crochet. I'm not a big fan of a single crochet because it's too small and it takes too long. I do like the double crochet, but my favorite is the half double crochet. It's fast, it's easy, it looks nice, it works up quickly. It's just an all-round favorite stitch, and I think it's universally maybe everybody's favorite stitch. I don't know. What is your favorite stitch? Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite stitch. I'd love to hear it. I really don't do a treble stitch a lot, you know, like a triple double crochet. I just don't ever do those, it seems, but I'm a big fan of the half double crochet. That's my absolute favorite. Oh, I know what stitches I don't like is the front post and the back post. I just don't like those at all for some reason. I do them, but I just don't like them. Okay, so next question. What was your vision for essentials for your packing station for people wanting to set up a station for themselves? So my shipping station or packing station, I just took everything that I basically use to pack my items. I really like to take I'll just make the whole thing into this big production of this is the order and this is who it's from, and this is where they live, and if you've seen any of my packing videos on my TikToks, you will see that I make a big production out of my orders. I want my customers to feel special, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to spend a lot of money buying a lot of special tags or paper or packages or poly mailers, something like that. You know, you can start simple. If you're just starting out, you will need to decide whether you are looking for a box or a poly mailer or an envelope. It depends on what you do. Some people need to wrap their items in a box. Some people can get away with shipping their stuff in poly mailers, so that's what I do. I don't think I've ever sent any, well, I had some brim hats that I had a wire brim, and I didn't want that wire to bend, so I had to sort of put that into some sort of cardboard mailer. But I don't think I've ever sent anything in a box as far as I can remember. But some items do need boxes, so it just depends on what items you do. I would say the thing that you need to do is look at your items and see how they will be shipped. And is it best to protect them in a box or a poly mailer? And then I would start small when you are purchasing your things. You don't need expensive things. Lots of things that I get from my packing station, I get right at the dollar store. And I look for the best deals when I'm searching for poly mailers. I get my wrapping paper from the dollar store, my thank you cards, my shipping labels. I get so much from the dollar store. So start small, just look at your items and say, okay, how is this going to be shipped? What is the best way? What's the most inexpensive way to do it? The way that I've chose to do it is a huge, big production. Sometimes I regret it because if I have like 5 orders, it will take me hours to pack those. Yesterday I was packing 3 orders and it took me I think it was 2 hours to pack and videotape and everything and edit and load and pack the items and get them all right. So it took me 2 hours to pack 3 items. So I do make a big production of shipping my items, but I feel that it makes the customer feel special. Again, you don't have to go all out. Start small and just add where you can economically and in the space that you can do it. Not everybody has extra space. Some people just have a counter. Maybe they have to put their stuff away when they use it. I was doing that for a long time. So it just depends on how much space you have. And start small and don't get overwhelmed when you're setting up your shipping station. And no one needs to see it, but just enjoy the way that you do the shipping, because if you start doing something that you do not enjoy, you're kind of stuck with it. So that's my advice on that. Okay, next question is, and these are still all from Rajan. Is it okay to sell or donate one's first crochet projects, or should it be kept as memorabilia? Well, that's up to you, but I will show you something that is one of the first items that I crocheted. Look at this doll. Now, this was just a prototype, okay? So this wasn't going to be a finished product ever. I was sort of making a doll, and I was sort of just getting the dimensions right. Now, this is number 2 of 3. Number 1 looked much worse than this. I did not even fill the limbs. I was just sort of getting the sizing right and trying to find out if it would work. This is number 2 where I actually put some stuffing in them. So I was trying to figure out how much stuffing am I actually going to need. And this I made years and years and years ago. This is probably over 25 years old. And he's falling apart a little bit, but this was number 2. Number 3 looked much, much, much better. But I have kept this. I've kept all 1, 2, and 3 of these dolls. And it's so funny to see this one. He looks really bad. Some things I have kept, and most of the things I have not kept. So it just depends. Do you have room to keep it? Is it special to you? I have kept some of the baby blankets that I made for my girls when they were first born. I have those. So it depends. If something is special enough and you have room to keep it, then keep it. It's always fun to look back at your work after 25 years and say, oh yes, okay, that's what I made back then. But a lot of the things that I did, I wish I kept. Some of the things I did that I made for my kids, I kept. I don't know where they are right now, but I will say that this was my grandmother's. And I kept that, and I'm so glad that I did because she meant so much to me. So if something is special, it has some meaning behind it, by all means keep it. And if you have room to keep the quirky fun stuff that you did, just as a reminder that I'm growing, I'm improving, then go ahead and keep them. All right, so the next question is, can you please explain which yarn is best for which crochet projects? Even after 1 year, I'm still unsure about what yarn to use if it's not clarified in a pattern. So, all right, I will say this, Rajan, if you're going to be making any type of wearable that people are going to wear in the summertime, I would make those with cotton, if it's something that's going to be against the skin. Now, if it's going to be something that's layered, maybe not necessarily cotton, but if you're going to make any type of summer top, bikini top, any type of yarn that's going to be going right against the skin, especially in the summertime, I would absolutely make sure that that's cotton or a cotton blend, like a cotton bamboo blend would be nice. If you're going to be making a blanket, blankets are very heavy and they need to be wearable and washable. I would not make those in cotton. I would just use acrylic for those. If you're going to make something that has to do with water, as an example, like a dishcloth, a dish scrubby, a face scrubby, facial round, anything like that that's going to be used in water, I would use cotton because cotton absorbs water, whereas acrylic does not absorb water. So it would just be a soggy mess if you had to make something with acrylic that was going to be like a washcloth. That would not be good. So wearables, you want something nice and light, colorful, soft. Usually that is acrylics that will wash well. Cottons tend to not be as stretchy, right? So that's why we make a lot of the shawls, pocket shawls, things like that, ponchos in acrylic, because we want that bounce, that drape, that stretch that acrylic kind of has to keep that shape. If it was made in cotton, it would sort of just hang. So it all depends on, is it going to be against the body, like right against the body as like a first layer, like a bikini top, a boho top, a summer top like that, make it in cotton. If it's going to be a layer, then I would use acrylic. If it's going to be something that's used in the water, I would make sure you use cotton. So I think if you write those things down and sort of look, okay, when do people use cotton? When do they use acrylic? And just sort of, you're gonna start to learn that eventually. Okay, next question is, how was your whole process from getting an order to shipping the order? Having taking the time to package the videos of your orders as well. When I get orders, let me turn the camera around and I will show you my shipping station and my sort of process from when I get an order. I do have an Etsy shop, Melody Yarn Tinka. So when I get an order, I will hear a ching, I'll get a notification. And let me take you through that process of what I do. So I'm gonna turn my camera around to show you what I do when I get orders. Okay, so the first thing I do when I get an order is I will check here on my list to see what number state it is as far as the number of orders that I get. So that's on this clipboard. I will get the letters that I have to write on my letterboard here. All right, and these things I keep over here. So what I will do is, the first thing I will do is write the number right here. So I'll get this dry erase board and I'll write the number of order here for them. And then I will, I'll get my letters and I'll take this down and I will take all of these letters off. And then I'll get the new name, the letters that I have for the new name, and I'll get a stand right here that I use. And I will tape myself putting all of these letters on for their name. And then once that is done, I'll hang this back up here. I will show the item. Okay, so I will show the item right here that they ordered. And then I'll give a shot of me changing their state. So if it's the 75th or 6th, you know, I'll erase the 5 and I'll put a 6. So I'll show that. And then I will wrap their item. I'll get my poly mailers, my tissue paper, everything is right here that I need, my scissors, and then my other items are right here as far as my cards, stickers, everything is right here, right handy to get, all of my labels, stickers, handwritten cards, everything is right here, so I just grab it. I have this little stamp with my name on it that I stamp my orders, so everything is right here that I need, and I have this whole area. So then I just wrap their order, and I have this, usually a camera set up here, so I'll have this sort of this view when I'm wrapping the orders, but everything is right here and handy. I can grab my poly mailers, my tissue paper, everything is right here. So I just film myself wrapping their order and making them feel special. And everything is just right here and organized always. And when I'm done wrapping an order, it just looks like this again. I just reset it so it's all nice and neat. Okay, so let's see what the next question is. Let's see. Does every crochet project need to be blocked? No, it doesn't. Usually the things that I block are granny squares. So I do make some cotton granny squares tops, boho tops that I block the granny squares because I want them to be nice and crisp and flat and soft. And when you block things, it just makes them nice and flat and soft and uniform color size. Another thing that I block is my cat pillow cover squares. I want them again to be all the same size and nice and flat and easy to sew together. So I don't usually block any type of shawl or blanket or anything like that. It just depends on, is the item that you have, does it need to be relaxed? Does the fibers, are they for some reason bumpy or not even or not the same size? If you're sewing something together, then you would want it to be uniform. If I was going to make anything with granny squares, I block granny squares. Other than that, I don't block anything but granny squares. So if I'm making something with granny squares, yes, it will be blocked. Now I will say that I do want to make some type of large shawl with 3 large granny squares and turn those into like a wrap. I would not block that. Anything that's heavy with a drape like that, you don't even need to block, because the weight of the yarn is going to pull those fibers anyway. So I don't think I would block something like that. I'll see. Maybe I will need to, maybe I won't. But if I'm doing granny squares, I will block them. So blocking relaxes the fibers and it stretches the fibers so that they're all uniform in size and shape. So when you're crocheting lots of granny squares, maybe you're doing them over several days and you're not using the same tension, or different yarns have different fullness or thicknesses of the yarn. So you could use the same hook, the same yarn brand, but maybe different colors are just coming out slightly different. That way, when you block it, they're all the same size, all the same shape, and they're nice and flat and soft and easy to sew together in a nice uniform shape. So granny squares I block. Not too many things other than that will I block. Okay, so the next question from Rajan still is, what is the thing that you will never crochet or really dislike crocheting? I know that I don't like sewing on pockets for sure. There's pocket shawls that I have to sew on pockets and I dread that like the plague. I do not like sewing anything on. I do not like sewing on the faces to these kitties. I like making the kitties, I like making the whole pillow, but sewing on the faces I do not like, because I can't always do the same thing like over and over again, you know, and it just bothers me. So I try to make my cats look as pretty as they can on these cat pillow covers, something like this when I'm sewing on faces. I just want to do a good job and make sure that they all look so cute, and I just struggle sometimes doing it. So sewing on, I think, is the part that I dread the most. It would all depend on the project. There are certain things that I don't like to do, like making these loaf cats. This orange one, I hated that yarn. I will never do anything with that yarn. I'll never buy that yarn again. It's the chenille yarn that falls apart. So it all depends on what experience I had with that project. Or people are always wanting me to make dogs of these cat pillow covers, and dogs are very different than cats. Cats are usually the same size, shape, basically. They're just different colors, so I can do that. But if I was to start dogs, people would want me to make all the different breeds of the dogs, and that would just be a nightmare to me. So I'm never going to do dogs. I will say never, because I feel pretty confident that I will never do dogs. So I think I don't really mind crocheting black items. I don't like, because I can't see very well, so it's really hard for me to do black. So anytime I get any order for something black, I just cringe because I can't see it. That's the only reason. I love the color black, but I just cannot see black. So it just depends on the project. Most things I love to do. Some things I don't look forward to do. Other things are easier, quicker. It depends. I like to do quick, nice, and easy projects that are fun and colorful. I don't like to get on a project that's going to take me a ton of time, because I just want to get it finished and move on to the next project. So it just all depends. Some people say if you're starting out crocheting, that you should invest in that you should not invest in expensive yarn, or should you go with cheap yarn. To say to buy cheap, others say the opposite. What do you recommend? So I would recommend go cheap. I like very economical things. These are the hooks that I love, BCM run hooks. You get this little set for 15 bucks. I only have 3 of the hooks in here because I've stuck them in all of my new hook holders that I got. But this comes with stitch markers, measuring tape, darning needles, several darning needles, and this nice little carry case, and it's a whole handful of hooks. I have 3 of these. I love them so much. I have tried the fancy hooks. I don't like them. They're not comfortable for me to use, so it doesn't matter how cute something is. If it's uncomfortable for me, I'm not going to use it. And I find that I love very simple, plain hooks with the rubber end, and I don't like a lot of shape and things going on, especially the bobbled ones where people have the big beads and the squares and everything. I can't use those with my grip. I think they're gorgeous and beautiful and I love them, but I just need a simple hook. I don't care how fancy it is, what the name brand is, how colorful it is, as long as it works well and it feels comfortable with your hand. Once you do find a hook, a brand that you love, and you want to invest in maybe better hooks, I guess you can, but to me, I don't see what it would matter if a hook cost $5 or $25 or $105. If it's not comfortable and you're not going to use it, it's basically decoration. So get a hook that you like and is comfortable for you, and just use those. Now, if you can use all the decorative hooks that people make, then that's great because they are super cute. And I've seen so many hooks where I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cute. I really want that. But I know that once I get it, I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to use it. So it's just decoration. As far as yarn, again, I would just buy cheap yarn. Why does it matter if something's $5 or $35? Unless you're just, you don't care that you just spend $35 for yarn. So I like to buy economical yarn. I like to get the big twist, the red heart, if the colorway is what I need. I love this yarn. The Karen Cakes. I love the Walmart off-brand, the Mainstays, the Craft Smarts. I love all of the store brands. The store brands I find are better than any type of name brand there are for yarns. I wish all yarns were made the same. I wish they were all soft and light, and I wish they were all non-pilling, and I wish they were all came in a million colors, but they don't. You have to pick and choose your projects. I'm not a person that loves expensive things, so I don't love expensive hooks and expensive yarn just for the sake of them being expensive. I'm a super cheap person, so for me to waste money on expensive yarn, I would have to pass that on to the customer. If I bought something, if I bought yarn that was $30 and I made something with it, it's going to be more expensive than if I paid $5. So I like to buy my yarn on sale. I like to buy it cheap as long as it's good quality. And I like to pass that on to my customers. And so I find if I'm buying expensive yarn, I just need to pass that on to my customers. It's reflected in the price of the item, and maybe it's not going to sell because it's more expensive. So I just like to buy cheap. I love things on sale. I don't even like to buy yarn at all if it's not on sale. So it's just up to you. If you want to invest in yarns that are more expensive and sell your items for a more expensive price, a higher price, then go for it. That's great. But I like to keep my prices just low and affordable, and I want everybody to be able to come onto my Etsy shop and see an item and not say, oh my gosh, it's just too much. I just can't afford it. I like to keep my items reasonably priced, affordable, and I do that with buying reasonable priced yarn. And as far as hooks, if you can use the fancy hooks that have all the bells and whistles on them, go for it. I think they're just gorgeous. People make some really, really beautiful, stunning hooks. And maybe if you have a knife grip, you can use those. But with my grip, I just cannot use those. But they are gorgeous. So I would say, Rajan, it's all depending on, are you selling your stuff or are you just making it? And if you're selling your stuff, the price is going to have to reflect how much your expenses are. So it's going to, if you spend more on yarn and hooks and everything else, that's going to be reflected in your prices. Okay, so we're turning the page. We have I think 3 more questions from Rajan, and then we're gonna get to another person. Let's see, what's your favorite thing you ever crocheted? So my favorite thing I ever crocheted, I will have to get it. Hold on one second. Let me turn my camera around and maybe I'll show you. Let's turn you around here. All right, so this is a skirt and I made 2 of them. This is the black and rainbow one, and I made a cream one with rainbow also. But this is one of my favorite things that I've ever done. It fits like a glove. This was from Shiloh Crochets, a pattern from Shiloh Crochets on YouTube. And I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever crocheted, ever. Again, I have a cream one that is just as gorgeous. And this was my absolute favorite thing I have ever made. I love the colors. I just love it. So this is my favorite for sure. Okay, so the next question is, what is your least favorite part of a crochet project? And again, it's sewing on. Anything that I have to sew on, whether it is pockets on a pocket shawl or faces on cats, I do not like sewing anything on. I can do it. It doesn't take long. It's not hard, but I just do not like sewing things on. I don't know what it is about it, but I dread it. Every single time I'm making a pocket shawl and I have to sew those pockets on, I dread it. It's the worst part of the whole project. And the same thing with the cat faces. I love all the other parts of the project, but sewing on a cat's face, I dread. Again, it's not hard. It's not difficult. It doesn't take a long time. I just dread it. Let's see. Last question from Rajan. What is your favorite yarn to work with? So I love this yarn. That's the name of it. I love this yarn. And also the cotton version is, I love this cotton. That's my absolute favorite yarn. Other than that is Big Twist. I love Big Twist because it's light. It is soft and it comes in a ton of colors and it is very cheap to buy. And it goes on sale often and I can get it locally. So that's my favorite yarn that I can get locally is the Big Twist. I love this yarn and I love this cotton. Our closest one is over 2 hours away, so I have to order that most of the time. So I would have to say Big Twist because I can get that closer. Okay, so thank you so much, Rajan, for all of those questions. I appreciate you so much. You are so wonderful. Thank you for all those questions. You've made my entire video. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, these next 3 questions were from Lorraine. Again, I asked people on Instagram on a post to please ask me questions that I was going to answer on a YouTube video, and here it is. Here's the last 3 questions. I will do this again, so if you like this video, please watch for my Instagram, and if I ask questions again, please ask me some questions. Okay, so Lorraine's, I think it's Lorraine, Lorrine, Lorraine. So Lorraine's questions is, will you ever make baskets? I have seen a YouTube video for a tutorial on baskets, and they are using several strands of yarn to make these baskets, and they look beautiful. And maybe I will try to make a basket if I ever have time to make one, because they do look super fun. And the only thing about making baskets is they would have to be shipped in a box. And that's kind of like a downfall to me because I don't have that set up yet for boxes. So that would be the only thing that I would be like a negative on, and maybe not do the baskets, is finding out how to ship the baskets. What got you into making the things that you make, the projects that you make? So I basically, if I see something and I think, oh my gosh, I need to make that, I will make it. And if I enjoyed making it and I think that it will sell, then I usually start selling it. I will say for the pocket shawls, I use the pattern for the pocket shawls. That was a suggestion from a cousin. I had a cousin that wanted me to make a pocket shawl. And the pattern is from Knot Yourself Out. And she sent me pictures of the pattern, or a picture from YouTube or something like that. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. That looks really hard. And I was making all these excuses, like, I've never done that before. I don't know if I can do it. That looks too hard. And then she's like, yes, you can do it. So I did it. I bought the pattern from Knot Yourself Out. And I made one and I'm like, oh, I can do this. And so I made it for her. And then a friend of hers wanted one. And then it just took off from there. That started the whole process. What was the question? Oh, what got you into making the projects that you make? Yeah, so people usually suggest something and I'll be like, I don't know. Can I make that? Can I not make it? Do I want to make that? And so it's just trial and error. Some things that I make I don't like the mini loaves, cat loaves. Those were not fun for me to make, mainly because of the yarn. But I do want to try those again and give those another shot. Maybe I'll like making them if I do them differently. Again, I always need to tweak patterns and put my own little spin on patterns and do my own things. So maybe I usually have to have somebody suggest something, or I will see something that I think, oh, I could do that. That would be a good seller. How did you promote your business when you first started out? So when I first started out, I was actually doing things just to give away, either friends or family or ladies in church or around the community. I would make shawls and I would drop them off at their door. Sometimes they wouldn't even know where they came from. I would just make shawls and drop them off to a ladies' doors around or the neighborhood or at church or something like that. And then I think I started selling on Facebook Marketplace. I want to say was the first thing I did. And I sold a ton of shawls that way. And then people kept saying, you need to sell your stuff. You need to sell your stuff. You need to open an Etsy. So eventually I did open an Etsy at the end of the year in 2019, I want to say. And I made my first sales the very first month. And I think I sold over $200 that for November and December. I think I opened it either the very end of October or the beginning of November. And I think I sold a couple $100, maybe $200-300 in those first couple months. And then from then on, it's just been nonstop, like nonstop. So I've been very blessed in the fact that people do like what I do and what I make, and they buy my items. I use TikTok a lot, so you will see lots of TikToks on, hey, I made this, or look at this, or this is for sale. I just keep making stuff, and as soon as I make it, some of the stuff just flies off the shelves. Some of the stuff doesn't sell as fast as others, but I just keep plugging away because I figure eventually it will sell. And even the things that don't sell, it's in my shop and it gives people something to look at and purchase. Some things I cannot keep up with, but I do my best at just, I'm only a one-person show, so I can only crochet so fast and so many hours a day. So I just try to plugging along and making things that people like and will buy, and that makes me happy and makes other people happy. And I'll just continue doing that until no one buys anything anymore, I guess. Or I get too tired or old or busy or something, I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for the questions. So that was from Lorraine, Lorrine. Topes. She was those questions. And then Rajan, my great friend from Denmark. Thank you so much for your questions, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this Q&A. Please, if you see me post anything else on Instagram looking for questions, and you want to jump in and give your questions, I would love to answer them on a future YouTube video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.